Good evening and welcome to our webinar. I'd like to let all participants know that this webinar is being recorded. If you have any questions, please enter them through the Q&A feature, which should be at the bottom left of your screen. And we will allow for questions after each presenter, as well as at the very end. And so with that, I would like to introduce Snehal Kalari from the CareStream India team, who will introduce our speakers. Snehal?
Thank you, Katie. For today's Go Digital webinar, we are very honored to have Dr. L. Vijay Kumar with us. Dr. Kumar is a senior consultant radiologist and the head of department at Medicover Hospitals, Madhapur, Hyderabad. He has more than 30 years of experience in diagnostic radiology and have worked at various corporate hospitals. His area of interest are cardiac imaging and musculoskeletal imaging. He has also worked as a specialist radiologist abroad. We are very happy to invite Dr. Vijay Kumar to share his expertise with us today. We welcome Dr. Vijay Kumar.
Yeah, good afternoon to all the viewers. Thank you, CareStream, for giving me such an opportunity to speak to such a larger platform, viewing by so many countries, so many viewers. So today, my topic has been given as progress from a older system, analog to CR to digital radiography. So I'll speak saliently about these features, and then step by step I go. So imaging system in a diagnostic radiology, we had analog system, computer radiography, and direct and indirect digital radiography. So analog system was almost as outdated now. Nobody follows the analog system, but still in some parts of the remote areas, analog system is still used, where you have a screen, where you have a cassette and a film sandwiched between two screens, and then they expose and they develop the film in a fixer and a developer. So now the system has changed to computer radiography and direct and indirect digital radiography. Next slide. CR workflow. As you see in these images, first image shows that we acquire image in the CR cassette in the room. There is an X-ray system. You expose the patient whatever part required on the image is captured on the cassette, and the cassette is transferred to the digitizer, where the cassette is placed in the digitizer. The digitizer processes the image, and then it is sent to the packs and then later on printed. Then there is a phosphor plate in the cassette. What happens to the phosphor plate after the image is produced? The digitizer erases the image after the image is acquired, so that it can be used for the next scan. Next slide, please. This is the typical workflow pattern in a CR, where patient is registered, taken to an X-ray room, and whatever part required is exposed. You could see that all the steps here, you are setting a collimation, and then up till here, you take the patient, ask the patient to relax, take the cassette and go to the room where you have a digitizer, and then put the cassette in the digitizer, read the image, see that the image is properly done or not, then you ask the patient to take out. So this takes around 30 minutes, and number of steps involved are 32. Next. So this is the working principle of a CR. You could see that the object is exposed, and the latent image is stored in the form of an energy. And the right hand side, you could see that photomultiplier tube, and there is a laser. Once we insert the cassette, the CR cassette into the digitizer or a reader, you say, the photomultiplier tube emits the electrons stored in the form of energy, and these are read by the laser. Laser reads all of them, sends to the amplifier, analog to digital conversion happens, and it is stored in the form of memory and goes to the display in the CPU. Next. See, this is the equipment of the CR. You have cassettes. You have a cassette which contains the phosphor plate. And after the exposure, this is inserted into the CR scanner, which is read, and then the images comes to the console. Then you can later on print. See, these are the requirements, site requirements, which required for the CR. Next. So challenges faced in a CR are these. Once we expose the cassette, we take the cassette with the phosphor plate into the reader and then read the cassette and check whether the cassette is proper or not. If suppose the image is not properly done, then you have to bring back the plate again, make the patient wait in the X-ray room, repeat all the steps, and then go back to the reader again. So this takes a little longer process, and then you lose time. The other is the background radiation. Sometimes you leave phosphor plate and the cassette somewhere, it picks up background radiation. It might cause some image noise. And multiple cassettes with phosphor plates maintaining, it's a significant labor where you need to clean up and then keep maintaining. Multiple cassettes have to be maintained. And longer time between two scans. So you have, suppose that the image is not properly done, you go back to the X-ray room, expose again, and then come back to the digitizer and process the image. So in this, you lose a lot of time, and you require little more space because you have to put a digitizer to read the system, the plate, and multiple power points. Next slide. And DR, once you come to the DR detector flow, here on the first image, you could see that image is acquired. The flat panel detector is placed either over the table or under the table. You expose, and there is no need of transporting the the flat panel detector into a digitizer or anywhere. Through wireless, the image is transported into the console. It is displayed here. You can manipulate the image, you can label, you can whatever you want to do, and then you can print it. So many things are simplified, and multiple times the going and putting the cassette in the reader is avoided. Next slide. So this is the workflow pattern of the reader. You could see that up till here, everything is same. But once you are done, you say the patient is kept in the same position. Suppose he's in a supine or erect position. You don't need to change him. The detector will be there in the X-ray room only, and the image gets transferred to the console. So if you are not satisfied with the image, you can repeat again. You don't need to change the patient position, or the detector needs to be, no need to remove the detector. It can be repeated again. Next slide. So this is the indirect and direct principle of a digital radiography, where the X-rays fall on the detector. You have scintillators which convert into light rays. You have photodiodes which convert through the TFT array, thin film transmitter array, into a digital image. So usually we follow indirect methods in a regular radiography. We use scintillators, multiple scintillators, which we see in the next slide. This helps in the formation of an excellent image. Next slide. These are the principles. You can see a cross section of the detector cross section as well as the methodology. You can see that there is a scintillators here, and there are photo detector array. Scintillator converts X-rays into a light rays, and then photo detector array, either cesium iodide or gadolinium oxysulfide, whatever detector array, they convert into an image. Here also could see that this scintillator light falls on the photodiodes, which is converted again into an embedded controller system. Through wireless, it is transferred into a console without any wire system. It is transferred as a wireless system. Next. So these are the types of scintillators available in the market. You have a selenium, you have a cesium iodide, and gadolinium oxysulfide. So what we are using, Focus 35C detector with us has a cesium iodide because it has got a very good efficiency of converting X-rays into and reading the light rays which are converted and forming a high quality image. So it works at high kVp as well as low kVp also. We have getting good results, excellent results with the cesium iodide type of scintillators. Next slide. So what are the benefits in ADR? Quicker image process you have, and then significant improve in workflow. Patient don't no need to be taken out and in, so less problems to the patient. You don't need to recall the patient again. Faster reporting, immediately the image is transferred into a PAC system where you can see the image immediately. High resolution images, and then constant image quality. You maintain a constant image, it is not deteriorated or lesser ones. You get good quality images in all, either in the X-ray room or in the mobile also. And the standard sizes of the detector, flat panel detectors are these sizes, 35 into 43 or 43 into 43, which is good enough for all kinds of exposures in the X-ray room as well as in the bedside X-rays. And your present X-ray system, there's no need to modify. You need to add just a flat panel detector and a small desktop or a laptop will add you all the software system. And a wireless connectivity benefits you to transfer the images to the console without any much difficulty. Next slide. This is the detector. We are using Focus 35C detector from the Carestream, and this does not weigh heavy also, around 3.3 kgs, and you can carry to the bedsides wherever you are possible, and then images transferred into the console without wire connectivity, wireless. Then you can print on a film printer. You have a battery charger for the detector which you need to charge regularly. So the site requirements are very less, and you need very less space for a DR system. Next. These are the images taken on the DR system. You can see the lumbar spines in a flexion and extension, and an AP view. You could see the lumbar vertebral bodies, disc spaces are the posterior arch element so clearly that a clinician who is watching the images will be very much satisfied with these images. Next slide. These are the images why I included, because see, even there are some external fixators, there is an intramedullary nailing here, there are a lot of implants, still you are able to see the bone details so well on these images. So it helps an orthopedician or a consultant doctor to come to a conclusion whether the implants are placed properly or not. Next slide. So just to show an example that these were the bedside and X-ray, there was a huge mass on the left parietal region for this patient, which we did biopsy and turned out to be a malignancy. And you could see crystal clearly there's a minor effusion on the right, minor fissure, elevated diaphragm, the stomach bubble, and the clarity of the pictures is excellent in these pictures taken on a focus detector. Next slide. These are the benefits in a DR. For the patient, less time, the cesium iodide scintillator takes less radiation, less kV, less exposure to the patient, improves exam comfort, and lesser time spent in the room. For a radiographer, it's a wireless acquisition, transfer to the console. He can immediately check, and then if there's a necessary, he can repeat it. The time taken for a radiographer to take a patient improves a lot, and then it's a streamlined exam completion with access to mini packs. Radiology administrator, the images are immediately transferred to a PACS so that the consultants can see the images instantly. And the radiologist should be happy with the quality of images, crystal clear images which come on the console. They can put in some remark on the image, they can label it, they can do any manipulation on the images. That's the advantage with the high quality radiograph. Next slide. These are the images. These are all the equipment which we have in Medicover Hospital, which is a 400-bed hospital, biggest in our Telangana region of India. We have a Vitaflex CR and then a classic CR with a reader. As I said, CR, the cassettes have to be read in this digitizer. We have a full room DR Ascent, which gives high quality images. And this is the focus 35C detector, which we do in the X-ray, as well as we take it to bedside and do all our bedside. And these are the printers. Next slide. Video runs. Yeah, this is our hospital, Medicover hospital, located in Hyderabad city of Telangana state. That's the reception you could see. That's the detector, focus detector. You see my technician is handling the detector there and he's placing the battery there. You need to charge this battery regularly. And that's the focus 35C detector, which is of high quality. And you can see all the indicators and the switches over there. And a 3.3 kgs lightweight cassette, which is easy to handle. You could see that there's a Wi-Fi shown there and the charging, how much is charged. The patient is taken into the X-ray room and the requisition is given to the technician. The patient goes inside and the technician places the detector on the chest stand. It's a lightweight detector. And the patient is asked to stand in front of the detector for a chest PA X-ray. And then he positions the patient so that exactly at 6 feet distance, you try to expose a good chest X-ray. Positions, he goes out of the X-ray room. And then you can see the Wi-Fi, everything mode you can see on the detector. He enters the patient details at the console. Name and then ID, everything. Usually when we are connected to HIMS, this automatically comes into the system where you need to just select a particular code, our ID number, that will automatically install all the name details of the patient. And he enters the details and then he wants to chest X-ray, he labels there, and then you could see that he's exposing there. He's selecting factors, how much kV, how much MA to be put. For a chest X-ray, hardly in a detector, you need maybe 50 kV, 3 MIs, very low radiation. He exposes there. And immediately after the exposure, you see that the image instantly it comes. It comes as a wireless mode. The image has come into the console. And it's so easy, so fast that patient has less discomfort spending time in the X-ray room, and then you get instantly image on the console. You can label it, you can sharpen or you can increase the contrast. You can adjust all the parameters on the image, and then you can print the image. So see, you can even rotate, and then you want to clip some part of it. You feel that the shoulder blades are not required. You can edit the image little. You can eliminate the bony components. Yeah, he's adjusting the things, and then you can go to the printer and give a print immediately, and then you can adjust the zoom. You can minimize or adjust, and he's giving a print there. Print symbol on the right lower end quarter. You could see that he's giving a print, and then immediately the laser printer gives you an image. You could see the count of the films there, and then in no time you get an X-ray print immediately. So this whole thing completes in so fast time that you get time saved, low dose exposure, instant image preview, reduces recall rates, less number of steps involved in completing one examination. Thank you very much. Thank you for K-Stream giving for such an opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar. Before we go on to our next presenter, we have time just for a couple questions. I'll start with the first one. It says, can we still shift to DR or CR if we don't have an in-house radiologist? And what is the workflow for that scenario?
Yeah, see what happens if you don't have an inflow radiologist also. For a CR or DR image, after the processing is done, the image automatically goes into the PAC system. So radiologist, wherever he's sitting, within the hospital premises or outside, he can view the image on the PAC system and then report online.
Thank you. Another question is, my radiologist is old school. I don't know how many have that issue. So how can I convince him to shift to reading digital images?
Yep. If we compare seeing the analog to CR to digital transformation, once I think a radiologist gets used to the digital radiography, it's difficult to go back, because such is the quality of the image in the digital radiography, and so many things. I mean, the image manipulations are so good. You can write some comments and all those things. And once a radiologist get used to digital, he will never go back.
Great. Thank you. Snehal, would you please introduce our next speaker?
Yes, absolutely. So our next speaker is Dr. Pankaj Kawachale, who is currently a consultant radiologist at Radiovision Diagnostics, Pune. He received his MD from St. Petersburg State Medical University and his DMRE from College of Physicians and Surgeons of Mumbai. His professional experience includes working at various hospitals like Apollo Hospital, Mumbai, Vijay Healthcare Services, Mumbai, BTBA Hospital, Mumbai, and RAD Diagnostics, Hinjewadi and Pimple Saudagar, Pune. We are glad to have Dr. Kawachale to share his experience with us today. We welcome Dr. Pankaj Kawachale.
Thank you so much, Snehal. I am really glad to have a word with KStream and all the audience. I am actually thankful to KStream. So I am Dr. Pankaj Kawachale, working as a consultant radiologist in Pune. So basically, I'm going to talk about CR system today, as Dr. Kumar has technically given you all the information. I will add some of the points which we use in day-to-day practice. So can we move on to next slide, please? So at our center, we process as we acquire the requisition from patient, which was given to the patient by a referring doctor. Then we confirm the study, ask the patient about his history, and according to requirement of the study, we go further and take him to the X-ray room. We confirm the position of the patient. Then by using the console, we take a proper shoot by using less exposure of the X-rays. Then we collect the cassette. I mean, the technician collects the cassette and he goes to CR room, where he inserts the cassette into digitizer, or what we say is a reader. Then insert all his data like patient name, age, body type, and then within a span of 45 seconds after the scanning of cassette, the image will display on the computer screen, where we can adjust the contrast, sharpness, we can rotate the image, or we can do many more things what are useful for obtaining a good image. Then technician, he applies a marker, whether it is a left side or right side, and then he after adjusting all the things, he gives a print which takes hardly 90 seconds to come out. So it takes a lot of, it takes a very less time to develop an image. Next slide, please. So I will compare now CR system with the previously used darkroom techniques. At start, we used to work in darkroom. So in darkroom, there are hassles actually to get the images, which are like we have to use many chemicals in the certain proportion for developing an image. In CR system, we don't use any chemicals. Darkroom techniques takes at least 90 minutes to develop an image, whereas CR system takes hardly 15 minutes, not more than that. In darkroom, we must prevent sunlight to come inside, because it can damage our image quality. In CR system, we need a very small space where we can keep our reader, where we can keep our computer and a UPS. That's a very small usage, I mean space usage. So next point is in the darkroom technique, that we have to go through certain procedures like developing, rinsing, fixing. Here in CR system, we don't use that. It happens on the computer, so it consumes a very less time. Lifespan of both the techniques, after developing image, the image remains for at least 50 years intact. I mean, we can see that image quite clearly after 50 years also. Next slide, please. In the dark room technique, it is a bit difficult for technicians to develop image because there is chemical processing. The chemicals are harmful actually for the skin or for the respiratory system. Here we don't use any chemicals in CR system, so it is quite comfortable to use. Part of contrast in the dark room, it varies actually. Makes We have to make some hassles to get some proper contrast. Contrast here in CR system can be adjusted manually by technicians using the computer. And the quality of the image in darkroom system is totally dependent on the mixture of chemicals. Uh, in CR system, we don't need that. Nowadays, we don't use dark room techniques to develop an image. Usually CRs are very good, and actually I'm doing it from last 3 years, and I'm getting a good workflow after using this. Next slide, please. So what all benefits does a radiologist get from this? We get good, or I rather say the best image quality in faster time. Then for some patients, we need to act fast. I mean, we need to report fast. So faster imaging gives us time to give fast reports in emergencies. For some good chest pathologies, as Dr. Kumar has shown us previously, so the chest pathologies can be evaluated very properly. It is less time consumable process. So we hardly take 15 minutes to develop a image, and for reporting it takes hardly 5 to 10 minutes. So within half an hour, the patient goes off with his reports and images. Some suspicious fractures I mean, we can point out some suspicious fractures which are hard to understand by a consultant or a physician. We can shoot again if the first X-ray is inappropriate, or if there is some artifact. Image can be stored in the data, and then we can send it for telereporting also. So if at all radiologist is not present at the center, then it can be sent in PDF or JPG format to the radiologist, and he can report remotely. Next slide, please. So here are some good images what we have captured in our center. This image shows us a comminuted fracture involving the calcaneum, and there is mild reduction in Bowler's angle. The patient was in tremendous pain when he came to us, and after this X-ray was given to orthopedician, he helped patient and treated him and fixed the fracture. Next slide, please. This patient had severe pleural effusion with the collapse of underlying parenchyma. He was breathless when he came to the center. My technicians were able to take this good radiograph, within 10 minutes, or I reported in more. I took more 5 minutes to report it. So in 15 minutes, the patient went up with the reports, and he was satisfied. And even the doctors were satisfied. Next slide, please. Yeah, this image shows completely displaced fracture of left clavicle. This patient was in pain and he was not able to move his left upper limb. So we reported it quite a short time, and given the reports to consultant orthopedician. So it helped a lot to the patient. Next slide, please. So this is our diagnostic center in Pune. So this is our reception where we do the registration of patients. The technician, she is showing the cassette. This cassette actually measures 17 inches by 14 inches. It has the film inside, which is made up of silver bromide. And when we insert it in the reader, it clears the film again, and we can reshoot on that. So this goes off like this. The patient comes to the reception. After receiving the prescription, patient goes with the technician to the X-ray room. This is a chest stand where we fix the cassette. And after fixing the cassette, giving a proper position to the patient, we proceed further. We keep the detector 6 inches away from the patient's body. Then on the console, technician fixes the parameters. Then she takes that 2 clicks, where on the first click electrons are made, and second clicks actually the shoot happens. Then she goes to CR room. So we have done CR system in a very small place. Then the image appears on the screen. So she is now adjusting the brightness, sharpness, and after doing the marking, within a span of 90 seconds, the printout comes out. So and we can know how many films are remaining inside. So the count remains good. So thank you so much, Carestream, for giving us an opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Pankaj. We do have a couple questions, and it looks like you answered one. The first one was, can we use film when using CR or DR? I saw that in your video. If you'd like to expand on that, please.
Yes, actually, we can use the film after erasing the previous X-ray which was taken. We can use that film again.
And we'll take one more. Can we do a weight-bearing position using the CR cassette or detector? How much weight can the cassette and detector hold?
Actually, weight-bearing positions, the chest stand is useful because we can keep the cassette in chest stand and adjust the height. So if there is any weight-bearing position like knee or knee only, then we don't need to actually get on the cassette. But when it comes to foot, then only we use the weight-bearing. Use the cassette under the foot, and I think it can bear up to 70 kgs if we are doing a foot weight-bearing X-ray.
All right, thank you. We're going to move on. So next will be Marco Riolfo from Carestream. Marco, as you go through, maybe you could answer 2 questions that came in. One is, how durable is the detectors? And the other is, how does the CR printer work? So that makes sense to answer as you're presenting. That would be great. And I'll turn it over to you now.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Katie. So do you want me to answer that question, those questions first or at the end of my session?
why don't you go through your presentation? Maybe they'll be
Okay,
answered
great.
during the presentation.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you very much. So for the next 10 minutes, we are gonna review, some of the, let's say, elements that are making attractive, the transition from analog to digital. Thanks to our doctors, we learn a lot about CR and DR, and they were very talk active about the workflow. So now I'm gonna put more emphasis on another subject that will be the return on investment. So as most of you are gonna invest into a new solution, you may be having questions about, yeah, but how can I get the return from the investment that I'm gonna make? Okay, so let's move forward. So a lot of you, are working today in the analog environment, and I'm sure that you have raised those questions many times that you see described here. So on your day-to-day activity, you are struggling with a lot of analog cassettes with the film, and also you're dealing with the darkroom, with the chemistry, let's say liquids, leaks, and all the issues like this. In addition, technologists are going back and forth many times during the day because of their own, process they have with the cassette in their hands, and this is not effective. These days, there are digital solutions that can help to improve a lot this workflow, as we heard about, and we can see, what are going to be the benefits. Let's move on. So in the first part of this slide, I wanted to put, some of the key steps of the workflow that has been described very well in the two presentations that were made before. So basically, I want just to focus your attention on the really, streamline of the workflow when you are moving to digital solution, in particular, when you are moving to the flat panel detector. So there are a lot of steps that are, let's say, removed, and things can go on quickly. Okay, so because of this, then you have a significant improvement, and this translates into more efficiency, in your environment. So what does it mean when this translates into a more efficient? So basically, what I want to focus now is on the second part of these slides, where you see the result, the outcome of a study that was made by NHS UK that shows the improvement that hospital had when they transitioned from analog film screen to CR or DR. As you can see on the left side, initially, those the average of those facilities that were doing analog film screen exams were taking roughly, they were doing roughly 27 patients per day. So then when they moved to CR, the average of those facilities moved to 34. And when they have been upgraded to DR, they could increase the number of patients up to 50. So this is the result of the fact that things are proceeding, more, let's say, quickly, and all this efficiency based on the steps that have been measured in those hospitals, it comes mainly from the activities done by the technologist when the technology is not in touch with the patient. So when the activities, let's say if you're talking about the activities related to the time that is spent, by the technology with the patient, you see that there are not much difference among, the technologies here, because more or less you need to anyway keep positioning the patient and explaining, what you're doing and so forth. So you don't have a big improvement. But when you are, let's say, looking into the other activities that are done outside the patients, so there is a big improvements when you're moving to DR. So actually, so the total exam time moved from, as an average, 17 minutes down to something more than 5 minutes, per exam. And basically, customer that moved to DR could, improve 3 times, okay, their efficiency there. That's really, astonishing. So a lot of customers saying, well, what does it mean when I'm going to improve so much? So I try to put here a tool that can explain what the advantages can be. So basically, I took as an assumption, I calculated the revenues per year at $10 per exam as a reimbursement rate, although we know that this reimbursement rate, it's pretty on the low side. There are countries in Europe or in US where the reimbursement rate is much higher. But even if we stay very conservative, take an example of $10 per exam and take into account 250 days per year. So you can see from this simple exercise that an analog film screen facility doing 27 patients per day can make roughly $67,000 per year as a total turnover. Okay. When they are moving to CR, that turnover due to the increase of patients, if they move to 34 patients per year because of the increased efficiency, they go to 85. And if they upgrade to DR, actually they can improve further and move to 125,000. So what it means? It means that a facility that moves from film screen to DR could get the benefit of $57,000 as incremental revenues that could be made. And this is a massive amount of money, okay, that can be made, and it pays really quickly, the investment that can be made when you are transitioning from analog to DR. Likewise, a facility that is moving from CR to DR can save up to $40,000. And this, again, is, unbelievable. And it helps a lot to make the leap, because a lot of people may have some resistance saying, okay, but I need to put some money upfront. So I need to know when this money is going to be coming back. So here you have an answer. Even if you want to be more, let's say, conservative and invest on the CR side, you see from the difference here of 85,000, versus 67,500. So you have a benefit of $17,500 that you can make in 1 year minimum. So this also pays for itself, the transition from analog to CR. So this is one possibility. I mean, to increase the number of patients. Of course, there is, different attitude and approaches taken by end user. Some of the end user may say, I'm not going to increase the number of patients because, I have some limitation, blah, blah, blah. Here you have an alternative option. So by increasing your efficiency there, we've seen that you can do 3 times of the exams with the DR. So basically, and easily, you can shut down additional X-ray rooms that you have in your facility. Maybe, for instance, you have, let's say, 3 rooms of X-ray in your facility. You can easily, that are running in analog, you can easily shut down one, at least one. Okay, and focus the activities on the remaining 2 if they are upgraded with DR. So by the fact that you are, let's say, consolidating all activities in 2 rooms only, you free up 1 room that can be space saved, so you have less rental. Or you can, if you keep the room, you can put a new modality there, like ultrasound, like CT, or MRI, whatever, where you can do different exams that have higher reimbursement rate. And this will lead you to do more business. Okay, let's move on. I have a couple of slides where I let's say, summarize the benefit, the technology benefits that are offered by the digital solutions versus the analog workflow. Of course, I'm not gonna go through all of these elements, but you can read them by your own, or if you are following up at a later stage this webinar offline, then you can go into all this detail. But easily, this was well remarked by Dr. Kumar and Dr. Pankaj before. So you see there are many sites where the technology is very attractive compared to the analog side. Just to mention one here, I put full compatibility with existing X-ray equipment. You don't have to touch your analog X-ray equipment you have. So if the unit is still in good condition, you can just remove the processor, remove the analog cassette, you put the CR in or the flat panel detector. All the new, let's say, hardware that you are going to put into the workflow will not be connected or wired to your existing, let's say, X-ray table. So everything works fine without involving any connectivity with the X-ray table and so forth. Of course, you need to just train your technologists to adopt the new device, and then you can start the same day producing more images. Also, no chemical, no darkroom. The hustle of working with chemistry these days. Many countries have regulations that are really limiting the transportation, or when you have to dispose the chemistry, there are very restrictive laws. So all of these will disappear if you're going to move to this digital. Let's move forward. Okay, so just some more elements here. I put at the top of the slide lower film usage, because someone can say, yeah, but now I'm using analog film. Tomorrow, if I'm going into the digital workflow with the printer, I will be producing film. Yes, that's true. But the convenience is that you can consolidate more images on the same film. Today, you cannot do it with analog. With the digital workflow, like you're doing with your digital images at home, you can compose your page as you wish, okay? And at the end, you can put more images on your film. So this means that at the end, you will be printing less square meter of film if you have a digital solution compared to the number of square meters that are used in the current workflow with the analog film type. Also, you have the capability with the printer to use different film sizes. So the printer can handle, from 35, 43 centimeter size down to 20 by 25 centimeter size. So you can accommodate the image on the film size you want. And this also helps to make some savings as well. Then there are a lot of other elements that have been discussed before, so I'm not going through all of them. Let's move forward. So the last slide here I want to review with you shows two solutions that are offered by Carestream. Specifically, the first one is the VitaFlex CR system along with the DriveView 5700. This is a very compact CR that is can fit even tiny spaces. We have seen before in the video, that there was a very good setup where the CR has been put. So here you can take, the freedom to put it on the desk or even on the floor. So the solution really fits small environments. Images, can come in really few minutes. We have very different cassette sizes available, including, long length, special XMs that are long length, and digital panoramic too. On the software side, we have an easy to use platform based on Windows 10 that offers very enhanced tools. And about the printer, we are showing here DriveView 5700 that is a single drawer printer. So you have one film size online available, but you can choose among 4 different sizes, and you can easily exchange your film size anytime during the day without going through the darkroom. The printer works with DriveView film that offers diagnostic quality and lifetime archivability. On the right side, if you click on the slide, you will see the Focus 3543C, that is the detector family, along with the DriveView 5950 printer. The particularity of those detectors is that they are wireless. detectors, so you don't have any problem with cables around that can, these days, everybody is so sensitive with the infection, risk of infection, and also cables are also causing, a lot of hazard in the facility. We offer two sizes, 35-43 and 43-43. You can choose among them, or eventually you can have both of them installed on your X-ray room, because you can put maybe the 35-43 in the table and the 43-43 on the wall stand, and both detector can work with the same console. The detector is based on cesium iodide scintillator for best image quality in lower dose, and in terms of printer, here we are showing the DriveView 5950 that has a dual size tabletop printer with high resolution. So eventually, if you have like an FFDM or a MAMO digital device that need to print images from, you can hook up this printer also to MAMO digital system. Film is the DriveView film that is with diagnostic quality and offers lifetime archivability. So you can move on. So with this, I'm at the end of my session, so I'll be glad to answer any question if you have. So Kathy, we heard before there were two questions. If you repeat them, it would be good.
Okay, but before I do that, since we're coming up on time, first I want to thank our distinguished speakers, Dr. Pankaj and Dr. Kumar. You put in quite a bit of time documenting the speed and the cost savings and the benefit to the patients. And we really appreciate your time, especially that you did the videos from your facilities. So first, I want to thank them very much, and as well as you, Marco. So a couple of questions. We'll just do two questions. Marco, let's start with you. The first one was, how durable are the detectors?
Oh, okay. Yeah, we heard about, all this technology that is embedded into such a very small device. It looks like a cassette. Normally, people are familiar with cassette that inside there is no electronic. It's just a shell made of plastic with, a screen or a couple of screens, and nothing more than that. But here, it looks like a tablet. Okay, so you have a shell that is made of carbon fiber. Inside there is a lot of electronics, and there's a battery, Wi-Fi transmitter, and all of this. The detectors have been designed to be very robust because we know the environment. So we have been working with digital solutions since the last 20 years at least. Okay, so we started developing detectors 20 years ago with the first generation. So we designed the detector to be very robust. In fact, today the detectors have improved a lot compared to the previous years. They have much more resistance and so forth. In spite of this, detectors of course may suffer if they are dropped. So if they are not handled properly, so of course they may be sensitive to all of these, let's say, accidental damages. If the detectors are used in a normal way, there is no issue because there is nothing that wears inside. And of course, the lifetime of the detector is the one that is expected for any other electronic device in the consumer business. So I would say we are talking about a time frame of 7-10 years, okay, minimum, because that's the lifetime of the components in the electronic, let's say, industry.
Thank you. We'll do one more question, but before I do that, I do want to ask our participants if they would please take the poll that will come up when the video closes. For the questions we did not get to, we will be able to, we'll do our best to get back to everyone. And in fact, Wayhan, do you have a slide that has contact information? If you do, if you could bring that up. So you can see here someone you can contact directly with your questions. But in addition, we will reach out to the people who asked questions that we didn't get to. And I want to thank everyone who took the time to join us tonight. We really appreciate it. So I'm going to ask Marco one more question, and then we will close the webinar. So another one that came in, Marco, is which system would you most likely recommend given the current pandemic situation?
Well, this is it's a good question. Everybody these days is very talk active, about the pandemic. Both, I would say either CR or DR can fit the needs of the pandemic requirements. Of course, if you consider CR, you have cassettes, to be handled. In the case of DR, you have just the detector. In most of the cases, detectors are left into the Bucky tray, and then they're not handled so often. Both solutions can be disinfected with normal disinfectants, so they fit very well into the environment like what we have today. And we have thousands of customers that are in many countries of the world that were using these technologies exactly in the intensive care that were affected, or they were, let's say, treating patients that were affected by the COVID-19. Of course, I would say the DR workflow being streamlined and simpler and faster, I think it offers the best performance for those requirements.
Okay, thank you. Again, thank you, Marco, and especially our doctors for presenting. This will end the webinar, and I will put up the poll now. We'd really appreciate it if our attendees would share their feedback. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening.